Hey, it's Kristina from Proven Winners ColorChoice Shrubs, and today I want to talk to you about how to identify your hydrangea in the wintertime. Sometimes we're so excited that we can't wait for them to leaf out and flower. So today we're going to be going around the garden to look at our most common types of hydrangeas, and that's the first step, is just seeing what the overall habit looks like, what the dried flowers look like, and with each plant I'm going to give you tips on how to identify it down to the species. So first we've got our bigleaf hydrangea, Hydrangea macrophylla. Now these plants are going to be blooming on old wood, so it's really important that you know what they are before you start gardening with them, because you're not going to want to cut into them. So a big tip on how to identify these are you're going to see these big, beautiful, meaty flowers. They've got really big petals and really big leaf buds. Actually look closely at the stems so that you can see these very large, kind of succulent looking leaf buds. That'll really be the biggest tip to you that you've got a big leaf hydrangea. And now behind me is actually a mountain hydrangea, Hydrangea serrata, which is so similar, and they're going to be kind of hard to tell apart from each other. So I'll give you a couple of tips on how to identify that one as well. And this is a mountain hydrangea, Hydrangea serrata, and it is very closely related with the bigleaf hydrangea, so you'll be looking for a lot of the same things. These big succulent leaf buds, the same big flowers, but this time they'll be lace caps. So you've got your fertile florets in the middle, those tiny little guys, and then your big showy sterile florets along the outside. And you'll also be looking for leaves. So bigleaf and mountain hydrangeas are more likely to hold on to their leaves throughout the winter. This just helps protect the plant. A bigleaf hydrangea is a little less cold hardy than a mountain hydrangea. You will still not want to prune either of them because they'll bloom most prolifically on old wood. So that is how you would tell the difference between a bigleaf and a mountain hydrangea and any other kind. And this is an oakleaf hydrangea, Hydrangea quercifolia, and it's arguably one of the easier hydrangeas to identify just because it has so many distinctive qualities. First, you're going to be looking for leaves. This is a hydrangea that likes to hold on to its leaves over the winter time, which makes it really easy on you. They're oak leaf shaped and they're lightly fuzzy. So right there, that'll give you a good indicator that you've got an oak leaf hydrangea. It's also got these really beautiful fuzzy buds too. And you've got the actual stems and the bark itself. Oak leaf hydrangeas are exfoliating. So if you've got those two things combined, probably have an oak leaf hydrangea. And last are the flowers. They're actually really similarly shaped to a panicle hydrangea, so you can't base it on the flowers alone because there are lace cap panicle hydrangeas as well. There are also oak leaves that have really densely packed sterile florets as well, so you won't see as much as the infertile floret in the inside here. And one tip about oak leaf hydrangeas, you don't need to prune them. They bloom on old wood, and they look best when they get to have this whimsical shape that's a result of no pruning. And that's how you identify an oak leaf hydrangea. And here we are with a panicle hydrangea, scientific name Hydrangea paniculata. And it's the first of two hydrangeas that bloom on new wood that I'm going to show you. So you're going to want to look for three different characteristics. The first is at the flowers themselves. So panicle hydrangeas have more upright flowers. They look kind of like footballs. These hydrangeas are more of the classic panicle, and I'll show you a lace cap in just a minute. The second thing you're going to want to look at are the buds. They are not very noticeable. They're kind of small and lifeless looking, and that's because these plants bloom on new wood. You're going to want to prune them back so that they can be as big and healthy as possible, and they'll actually grow those flowers that season. And the last thing is the habit. These plants are a little bit wider, more vase-shaped, and that's how you're going to tell if you have a panicle hydrangea. And now we have a lace cap panicle hydrangea. So all the same things apply here to the habit and those buds, but the flowers are a little bit different. So they're still upright, but instead you've got these beautiful tiny little fertile florets and those big infertile florets here. So you'll look for that. And here we are with the other hydrangea that flowers on new wood, a smooth hydrangea, Hydrangea arborescens. So we're going to be looking for the same three characteristics. First, the flowers. Now these flowers are flat. They are not tall like the panicle hydrangeas. They might be a little bit domed, but you're not going to see that same height that you will with the panicle. They also come in a lace cap, so we'll take a look at those in a minute. But otherwise, their flower petals are nice and small and tightly packed together. Second, we're going to be looking at those buds. Also small and lifeless thanks to the new wood flowers. And last, we'll be looking at the habit. So this is more upright. It's got a lot more straight stems and not that same kind of width and that branching that you'll see with the panicle hydrangea. And that is how you identify your typical smooth hydrangea. This is an example of a lace cap smooth hydrangea. You'll see this with something like Invincible lace smooth hydrangea. So what we've got here are all of the tiny little fertile florets surrounded by the sterile florets, which are the big, showy, petal-like structures. And you've got the same more straight stem here and tiny little, not really noticeable buds. And so that's how you'll identify one of your lace cap smooth hydrangeas. And last, I figured we'd talk about climbing hydrangeas. Now there are two types that you might have in your garden, and one is false hydrangea vine that we have here. This is schizophragma, and it's not a true hydrangea, some would argue. And the main difference you're going to be looking for with this plant versus the true hydrangea vine are the flowers. They have these big, full petals, and they look kind of like sails. And you'll be able to see them pretty easily because they stand out quite well. And that's how you all identify a schizophragma. And here we are with a hydrangea vine, Hydrangea anomala var petiolaris. So you're going to be looking at the dried flowers again, and this time you will see little groups of 4 or 3 sometimes if it's broken off. Still those same beautiful dotted fertile florets in the center. And for a little bit of fun, you'll also see that the flower buds are big and succulent, which is a clue to you that it blooms on old wood. And that is how you'll identify all the most common types of hydrangeas in your garden. If you have any questions, please comment below. And for more information, visit us at mypwcolorchoices.com. See you next time.